Good morning, family, and welcome to today's Lessons for Life. Today is Thursday, August 20th, 2009, and today we're reading in 2 Kings chapter 12. And as always, I first encourage you, read it for yourself, so what you get from it, email us and we'll put it on the blog. But actually, even combining yesterday's chapter and this chapter, we can see another lesson. Remember, King Joash was really brought up in the temple and instructed under the priest. And you see in this chapter at the beginning, it talks about, those instructions actually worked out. Remember yesterday we were talking about, a baby has to be matured before it's ready to face the elements. But we can also see another lesson, because this king actually did right in the sight of the Lord. So that instruction from a child is important, and we need to be mindful of that, especially when you're raising children. They say the first 5 years of a child's life is where they learn a lot, but really the majority of what they're going to learn throughout their life. And those first years is something that we need to really encourage growth and learning, proper growth and learning. So that's something that we see the results of it from this chapter, like I said, combining the two chapters together, that since he was raised up correctly under the priest, then he actually grows up and he does right by the Lord. But what I really want to bring for Lessons for Life was, as I was reading this chapter, and they were talking about the offering, and when people bring in offerings, because they were supposed to be repairing the temple, and the priests that were there had charge over the money at that point, and they were supposed to repair the temple. But they noticed that over several years the temple still hadn't been repaired. But the lesson I want to share for this, what I was thinking about was, a lot of times when you go to church, offering is kind of a natural thing in regards to going to a church, and people kind of view that negatively. For the a lot of people view that very negatively, that they have to give their money, or that they don't know what's going to happen to their money after they give it. But what I want to share as a lesson, just as I was thinking about this chapter, is, your responsibility is to pay your tithes and, to give offering, and what is done with it after that point is really that doesn't affect what you'll get, or the blessing that you'll get from your giving. So that's my mindset whenever I was, or whenever I give or whatever. It didn't make a difference what was done with the money afterwards. I know with my heart what I was giving it for, and I was doing the right thing. I know I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, and anything after that, it didn't really matter to me what the money was being used for, because I knew from my perspective I was doing the right thing. So the blessing would still be, I would still be blessed for giving what I was giving. So that's something I thought about, because you see in this chapter where they was giving to their temple, and they wasn't actually doing what was supposed to be done with the money as far as repairing the temple. But when you think of it in the part of a giver, it's really all about your heart and what you're doing with when you're giving, when you're sowing your seed. And as long as you keep sowing, then you'll still be blessed for it, and it doesn't matter what someone else who maybe has control over the money actually does with it. So that's one lesson that I wanted to share, and something I was thinking about as I was reading this chapter. So don't be discouraged when you are asked to give at church, because it's really a blessing that is still in store for you no matter what happens with the money. With that, create yourself a wonderfully blessed day today, and we'll talk again tomorrow.